to the 12-stranded crystalline DNA structure in humans that is waiting to emerge out. So the crystalline DNA is not something that will descend from the heavens. It is something that is inherently already lying latent in us and is waiting for things around us to work in a manner in which this DNA will express itself totally and completely. If we look at Mirabai, if we look at Yudhishthir, if we look at Tukaram, if we look at Kabir, what was the outstanding feature of these people's lives? Let's look at Kabir, let's look at Tukaram, let's look at Mirabai, let's look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the common theme in these four lives? Absolutely, love, not even spirituality. There is a blind, insane love for the divine. And it transcends logic, it transcends common sense, it transcends systems. This is the common link. Out of all these, there is a crazy love that is so powerful that somewhere it has managed to trigger that shift. Okay? So let's look at what role is love playing in the story. Because what you see common out of all these is, as he says, love, and love of the highest form, love of the purest form, which is why they say at the highest level of awareness, bhakti is the craziest route to meet God. Because if you truly devote yourself into bhakti ras, then you are completely operating out of that blind love for the divine. Okay? Now, coming to love. How many of you have heard of a guy called Masaru Emoto? Anybody? Beautiful, yeah. Okay, so for those of you who haven't, don't feel left out. Just to put you into the loop, there is a Japanese scientist. He goes by the name of Masaru Emoto. He is still alive. Okay? He did experiments with water. He took a sample of water from a water body, froze it, so crystallized it, and then observed the molecular arrangement under an electron microscope. Now, as we all know, water is H2O, so it has an orientation of hydrogen and oxygen. Now, when he uttered the words, "I love you," to the water, the same water body, frozen again and samples taken, showed the molecular arrangement had reoriented itself into a perfect geometrical structure. Now, this was a very huge shocker to the world of science. This experiment was repeated for nearly 5 to 7 years with different formats. That means they even did experiments taking a glass of water and only putting the label love, L-O-V-E, and the water would change. There's a book on this. You can go on the internet, Google this. There are photographs, there are slides. Another experiment was done where the water was in Los Angeles and he is in Tokyo. And he would focus love and the water in Los Angeles would change. Okay. And that led science to conclude that love as an energy has molecular transformational properties. Now the joke is 70% of the human body is water. So, if love is able to transform water and water is 70% of your body, then obviously love as an energy has the complete capacity to transform 70% of your own body. But the science ka khujli will not end. So, no, which is very healthy because that is the only way evolution happens. So what the scientists then did is they asked, if this was a glass of water, they asked Masaru to put his hand here and think of love. And then they captured the spectrogram in the space in the middle. Because that's where the magic is happening now. Water is here, love is here. So what's happening in the middle? The jump we made philosophy. So when they took a spectrogram what they found in the spectrogram was a structure somewhat like this. This is Picasso's representation of the DNA. You have to imagine the rest. So what they discovered is a central double helix curve which resembled the Watson and Crick carbon-based DNA model completely. And surrounding this on either side was this golden cup-like structure which the Russian scientists claim is the precursor to the crystalline DNA. That means every time you feel love energy, somewhere you are activating this part of the story. Science gave this energy pattern a new name. It's called the torsion energy wave or the torsion energy format. So just imagine how our communication is going to change in the years to come. So when one boy starts loving another girl, the communication will now be, I'm feeling a lot of torsion for you tonight. Okay. Anyways. So, now the strangest part of the story. The center of the Milky Way galaxy has been emitting a frequency of radiation from the time it has been in existence. That frequency was traditionally called as GE. When this experiment was done, scientists now found that the Gay energy pattern resembles the torsion energy wave completely. Which means what? Which basically means that on this particular date, the planet Earth is coming in one straight line with an infinite supply of the torsion energy wave. Which then means that inhabitants on this Earth whose DNAs are open will get a blast of this big time. Which then means by default that your conversion or transition to crystalline DNA becomes a matter of natural human evolution. The only condition for this is one, which takes me to the work of a very famous molecular biologist who goes by the name of Bruce Lipton. He's written a book called Biology of Belief. In his work, he took the DNA sample from a human placental cell and he separated the DNA, two strands separate, put them into two medias in two different rooms, and then in one room he had a group of people going and looking at the DNA with love. And in the second room, the same group of people went and saw the DNA with anger. After 15 days, in the first room, the DNA was fully open. In the second room, the DNA had curled completely. For all those of you who have any background of science, the DNA is only the blueprint of the body. It's the plan. The actual execution of the plan is done by the RNA. The RNA reads the DNA sequencing and then it moves. But for reading to happen, the prerequisite is that the DNA has to be open. Because if the DNA is shut, there is no way the RNA can read it. Which then tells you that no change in your life is possible from a negative emotion. The more you are stuck with your own negative patterns and negative thinking and negative emotions, the more your own DNA is curled shut. And the more your DNA is curled shut, the lesser are the chances for you to be able to shift or to move. Which then means that the only obligation that you have to yourself through the shift is to learn to love and accept yourself for what you are. You are what you are, and that is what you are. Across cycles of life and death, you have landed up rejecting yourself and creating your own karma stories. No God up there is sitting in judgment to say that you are loved and you are unloved. Because Hitler also shows God the dark side of God, just as Mother Teresa shows God the light side of God. Because God is in every light, God is also in the darkest darkness. But if you want to shift, then it is obvious that the only obligation that you have to yourself is to learn to love and accept yourself completely for what you are. Because you are unique, you cannot be Xerox. You can never become anybody else. Okay? So, even every healing that you do just focuses on bringing yourself back in love with your own space. So, if you learn to love and accept yourself completely with no judgment for yourself, I'm not talking of others, then you keep your own DNA open, which traditionally will then help you as and when this shift comes through to be able to push us through. Just one more thing from an astronomical perspective, and then we change gears. The Milky Way galaxy, through its own movement across the universe from the year 2004, has entered another galaxy that's called the Pleiadian galaxy. We'll now talk about Brahmaji's 50th birthday. Okay? Now, the Pleiadian galaxy, just like we have the sun, we have a sun, right, that gives us all energy and power and all that. The Pleiadian galaxy also has a sun that is called as the central sun of the universe. The name that's given to that sun is Alkai 1. For all those of you who are followers of J.D. Krishnamurti, have you heard of J.D. Krishnamurti? Krishnamurti Foundation, basically. So he was called Alkai 1. That was the name given to Alkai 1 because he was considered to be the next Brahma, and he very politely declined, saying, I don't want to participate in your dramas. But anyways, Alkai 1 is considered mythologically to be the Brahma of the universe. And from 2004, our galaxy has entered the zone of Alkai 1. Now, Alkai 1 on either side, I know this is looking very messy, but it doesn't matter. I don't want to rub it out at the moment. Anybody has a problem with this? No, great. On either side of Alkai 1 is a photonic belt. And from 2004, we are going through this belt in our revolution. 2012, we'll be right in the center. Now, what is this belt doing? The Milky Way galaxy has a sheath of plasma that is covering the entire galaxy, that keeps the galaxy relatively insulated from radiations from different sources. Now, as we are moving through the photonic belt, this sheath is getting ruptured. Because this sheath is getting ruptured, we are from 2005 onwards experiencing a sharp increase in the solar flares of the sun. So if you just Google or go onto the net and read this, you will realize that from 2005 onwards, the number of solar flares or explosions that are happening from the sun are shooting up. What the solar flares shoot up is doing is, it is slowly altering the magnetic axis of the earth. The magnetic axis of the earth traditionally is supposed to be in alignment with the geographical axis. The geographical axis is at 23.5 degrees to the perpendicular position from the equator. So ideally, that's where the magnetic axis should be. The magnetic axis currently is at 32 degrees. Okay? Now, what is the shift of the magnetic axis doing?